Hello, Internet. All right, so today we are checking out a little deck I built called Flashy Fish. Bloop, 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 bloop. And that's because this deck is built around the Brian-born Cutthroat, which is a seemingly boring card, honestly. But once you see how powerful its mechanic can be, this is actually a potent deck, and I've won many games. My win rate with this deck is extremely high, and I was quite surprised. Now, this is built around instants and flashes. Now, flash is just basically an instant of a creature, so it can come in on the opponent's turn. And the reason we want that to happen is because whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, this creature gets +1/+1. So that is the important factor here. That means that you need to play all your cards on the opponent's turn. You need to resist the urge to play any cards on your turn. And muscle memory, I promise you, it fights you so hard in that because you're so used to playing all your cards on your turn. And now you have to just basically sit there and do nothing until it's the opponent's turn. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. It took me a few rounds. It's definitely a bit of a mind warp to only play your cards on the opponent's turn. But once you do, this deck, it sails. It's amazing. So let's take a look at the other cards that support our Cutthroat. So the first is the Spectral Sailor, a seemingly, average card. Also has flash, has flying, but it can also, for 4 mana, it helps us draw a card, which works very well with Fairy Vandal, which says also flash and flying, which whenever you draw your second card of the turn, this card gets a +1/+1. So it's a nice, the deck isn't centered around this mechanic, but it's a nice little extra mechanic synergy between these two cards. Other than that, we also have Opt, again an instant card, and this also helps us just get through our library so we can get the cards that we need out. And again, instant, try play it on the opponent's turn, don't play it on your turn. You're wasting a +1/+1 counter. Sometimes, especially when you get this card in your hand in the beginning and you don't have the Cutthroat in your hand in the opening hand, then I generally play Opt just to help me get to it. But if you do, then save it for the opponent's turn. You definitely benefit from it more. Other than that, we have a lot of counter spells to make sure that the opponent doesn't cast any monsters and creatures to fight us, because it takes a little while for this counter to tick up. So we want to try keep the board as clean as possible and prevent him from also killing our Cutthroat, which they're going to be, once they see that a counter gets put on it every time we cast a spell on their turn, they're going to be gunning for this card. I promise you, they're going to be shooting everything they can to destroy this card, and we need to deflect and negate it, basically. So that is why we have a ton of counters in here. You can see these are all counters, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 type of counters in this deck, and that is solely just to keep this Vandal alive. The first of these is negate, and that's obviously to counter other counter spells, especially good against other blue decks that are going to also be countering. So I love just whenever they throw one of these other counters at me, I just negate it. Or when they throw a sorcery spell to destroy, such as Assassin's Trophy or something like that, I just negate it. Shock, negate, goodbye. So that keeps him alive. And then we obviously have Quench, which is a relatively cheap instant counter, but it does give the opponent a chance to pay 2 mana of his own, and then he can negate this spell. So this is good for the beginning, not so good for the late game. Although sometimes opponent plays all his lands, and then he has nothing to pay this ransom, and then this still works. So it's a very good card. Then we have Once Upon a Time, also much like Opt and even Spectral Sailor. This is just to try get even out a bad hand, so that you can either pick up a land or get this Cutthroat in your hand. Then we have Mystical Dispute, again similar to Quench. Counter the opponent can pay 3, and then it voids this spell generally. So you just have to kind of keep an eye on the mana and hold it for when he casts a big spell. And then you'll get away with it. Plus, this is very good against other blue decks, because if they cast a blue counter spell, then this card costs 2 less, so it only costs 1 blue mana. So very good card. Put as many of these in you can. Then we have Didn't Say Please and Thought Collapse, which are exactly identical cards. So you can even have 8 of these cards. These are straight up counter. They cost 3 mana, and yeah, they are vital. Plus, they cause the opponent to put 3 cards of his library into his graveyard. So you can have 8 of these counters right in your deck, and they're both common. So definitely do it. Then we have the uncommon, which is also counter a spell, but you get to surveil 1. So it's an added benefit. If whether you want to surveil or you want to put cards in his graveyard, it's up to you. The most important part is to just get that counter off. Okay, so then there's our other big boy that is our creature, and he is so important. You'll be wondering, why is there a green wolf in this blue deck? And the reason is, firstly, he's also flash. He's one of the only green creatures currently in standard that are flash, and not only, but the rare few that are flash, and but that is not his main reason for being in this deck. The main reason is the fact that here it says, at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast any spells this turn, create a 2/2 green wolf token. Now, as I said, we aren't playing cards on our turn, so this is going to be activated every turn. Every turn we are going to get a 2/2 green wolf creature token popping up next to Nightpack Ambusher, and that is insane, guys. This you'll be surprised how quickly you grow an army of wolves just because of how the Cutthroat benefits from the +1/+1 counters, causing us to only play on the opponent's turn. This card is going to give us an army of creatures just because we are sitting back in our own turn and just taking it chilled. And so this card combined with our Cutthroat, which is going to grow monstrous, this is going to cause a little army of little wolves to attack our opponent. Then, not necessary, is Nisa. I just put it in because we can't just rely on these 2 cards to take the opponent out. Although they do, most of the games they actually do. But once she's out, we can use our lands because all these cards are, they're super cheap cards. We don't really need all those lands. When you get to round 6 or so, when you have 6 lands in there in the game, then she can start creating 3/3 lands for you, and it becomes it helps your Nightpack Ambusher. That combined with the wolves and the big Cutthroats, that's what seals the deal and finishes the game off. So that's basically the deck. It's not too technical on paper, but the mechanics behind it and just resisting that urge to play on the opponent's turn, or play on your turn rather, and play on his turn, is just the key factor in winning with this deck. And lands, again, basic. I put 2 breeding pools. I only own 2, so if you own 4, put them in. But definitely put obviously more islands in there because we only have these 3 green spells in here, so we definitely need the blue spells to pop up in our opening hands so that we can play these cards and the counters, especially, like I said, they're important. And I put Lotus Field in as well because it gives us an extra mana. We can have 3 blue mana instead of only 2. So it's a nice little card. And again, I only own 1. If you own more, maybe put 2 in. I don't know if I'd put too many of them in, but because it does come in tapped, so it does slow you down slightly. And that's the deck, guys. So let's play a few games and let's see how it goes. Okay, guys, so we are playing our first game of Flashy Fish. Alright, so let's see what Striker has to offer, if he can fend off the attack of the fish. Alright, so we don't have our Brian Cutthroat in here, but let's keep this hand and see what happens. We have an opt, so that's why I said opts. It's preferred to play it on their turn, obviously, if we have a Cutthroat in the game, but we currently don't, so I always just use it and then generally get a bit lucky, get a Cutthroat. Alright, let's pop that out. Okay, I already have a counter. I need to get that cutthroat out, so there we go. There he is. Perfect. So yes, that's the power of the opt card. Even though it's a basic, it really comes in handy. It'll help me many a turns. Okay, this guy needs to play now. Thank you. Okay, another opt. Alright, so now we can at least play our cutthroat. So this is the only time you must actually play on your turn. Obviously, because there's no reason other than to not play it on your turn. It's your opening card. You have to put it out as soon as you can. The only catch is that you are now vulnerable to something being cast from him. But because it's so early in the game, it generally doesn't matter too much, because he only has 2 lands of his own, you see. So there. Alright, so now we're in business, guys. Now we can... Okay, so now I'm not going to play this up now, obviously. And we're going to attack with him. Okay, so now we need to... So now we got on a gate. Okay, okay, that's our end turn. You see, I still have to get used to it. As soon as you play a game with a normal deck that you play on your turn, you have to rewire your whole mind to get used to this deck again and how it functions. This little text here, opponent's turn, is vital for this deck so that you don't lose your mind and start playing cards when you're not supposed to. Okay, so another thing that I realized in this deck is that you have to wait. It's a big waiting game, and you have to wait right to the end. So let's see. So you don't play up now, even though it's tempting to play it. Don't play it. Play it after just before it says my turn is when you play cards. So play that now. He didn't play any spells. Okay. The Lotus. No, we've got enough land now. So let's look for something else. Okay, we've got a land anyway. Okay, we've got another opt. Okay. So as you saw, we've got a +1/+1 counter. And again, we attack on our turn. And that's all we do on our turn, guys. We just attack. Nothing else. Alright. So the reason we wait right to the end of the turn to play the opt is so that we keep our mana for, the counter spells. Okay, he's going to definitely play something. His cards are highlighting. Let's see what he's got. We obviously want to try to get rid of these spells where he has the ability to pay mana to, you see, like that. So let's negate this one. Oh no, let's do this one, so because you can't pay anything. We'll keep negate for another situation where he can actually pay that ransom. Alright, so that is the end of the battle phase, and then we put another opt out, and then as you saw, we got 2 +1/+1 counters. Again, another land that we don't need. Okay, once upon a time. Again, this is also an instant, so don't play it on your turn. Play it on the opponent's turn, and we'll be set. Alright. Okay, hit him for a nice fight. You see how quickly this creature grew. Okay, there we go. End of... Okay. You see, I almost played it. It's so confusing. Okay, so you must be focused when you play with this deck. Don't play on your turn. I've made many slip-ups and when I shouldn't. Because the reason is because the client, the game itself, highlights these cards for you, and they pop out. And you're so used to throwing out cards that pop up or that get highlighted in their blue border, and now you must resist that urge to play it, not on your turn. Anyway, I've said it enough. You get the point. But you'll see when you play the deck how difficult it actually is. Something so simple. Okay, so we have a full counter here, okay, that we're going to use. Okay, So Planewalkers aren't creatures. So it is a non-creature spell. And we're going to negate him. And bam. Cheers. Okay. And he resigns. Concedes. See guys, the power of this deck, it annoys the living crap out of your opponents. And that's what makes it so powerful. And he couldn't do anything. So, first win. Okay. Let's play another game with Flashy Fish. Yeah, so when I actually saw this deck, someone else was playing it. And I was also like, I was so amazed at how this deck actually functions that I had to make it. And that's what happens with most opponents. This deck hasn't been, I've only seen it once ever, which was that game. And it catches everyone off guard, which is exactly the point. Again, we don't have it in our hand, which is a high risk, but we've got good cards otherwise, you know, to keep the opponent at bay. We've got another opt, and we've got three counters. It's kind of an identical hand to the last game, so we just need to get lucky and get our cutthroat out as soon as possible. Because as you saw, once we do, it's kind of game over for the opponent if we have enough counters, which we generally do, because most of the deck is built from counters. So it's guaranteed that you always at least have one in your hand. Okay, I'm going to play this opt. Okay, now let's try get something else out here. Okay, Thought Collapse. Okay, unfortunately we don't have our cutthroat. Okay, there he is. At least he's on turn 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang up. So I'm not going to attack now, put him out, because the opponent now has one up on us. I'm going to try and negate this round, because he's going to bring out another creature. And then, there we go. So the champion, so negate this. Counter it at least. And now we're going to be ready with our cutthroat. Okay, pay for him. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put Lotus Field out now. So that we are, okay, we can't because it comes in tapped. You see, that's the catch of this card. But next round we'll have 3 mana. Okay, so unfortunately we are 1 behind. And that's why just having, the key is to get this cutthroat in your opening hand. Because otherwise you do get set back, as you can see now. Okay, so we have another opt. And we have our, so we can play both of these. So we obviously can't attack in turns, but we can play both of these cards. No, actually we can't, because this only creates mana for one card, for one color. So unfortunately we can't. But so we'll just have to choose. I think maybe Once Upon a Time's a better play. Okay, but he obviously so let's do this one. He can't kill us. And we get a nice +1/+1 counter. So he can still attack us now, but next round he won't be able to, because we still have 2. Okay, so there's a quench, that's perfect. Okay, so okay, we won't attack because we can't, he'll die. And then opponent's turn, which is basically our turn. Okay, another pack. Let's play this one. Okay, and then we can also play a opt while we add it. We have a spare mana. Nisa, no, not yet. Don't have enough land to support her. There's no point. Okay, so now we sorted, guys. He can actually kill us still. So let's go one more round, because I don't want to lose him, obviously. He's our only creature right now. So we've got a Thought Collapse and we've got a Negate. So we can, whatever he's going to throw at us right now, we are going to counter. Okay, so we have our own Ambusher that's out now. So hopefully I can get him on the deck. We do need one more green, or it can be any land. Obviously to pay for him. That's the thing, guys. You just play the waiting game with this deck. Okay, there's Thalsimir, counter target spell. Okay, there we go. Now I can't do anything to us. Okay, and I can guarantee you at this point in time, he's getting so angry. Okay, there's another Cutthroat. Again, guys, do not play it on your turn. Okay, he can't do anything to us. I just want to check as long as... Okay, so I can attack now. He can't kill us. He takes the hit. Okay, but like I said, don't play another Cutthroat if it's not on your turn. Wait it out. We only have one Negate left, unfortunately. So there's not much we can do at this time. Unfortunately, we can't counter that one, but we can at least boost him at the same time. Okay, so now he has 2, 4, 6. Okay, so he can kill us now. Okay, you're going to have to take the hit, it's fine. Okay. Alright, so unfortunately it's another Negate, and this is a very strong creature-based deck. Okay, so he's got something there. Don't know if I should attack now. He's checking his cards out. I'm not going to fall for it, I don't think. I'm just going to leave it for now. He was checking his cards. So I think he might have had, an instant growth spell. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. Right, yeah, we definitely need... I don't know if I need Breeding Pool, no. It's fine, let's just take the blues. The blue's fine. Because then we can make 3 green with this and then 1 blue. Okay. Right, so 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So he's definitely got something in hand. That he is going to kill us with. So we can only do this one more round. Okay, so I'm going to play... Okay, let's all attack. Okay, I'm going to attack with this one. And then we can see what happens. Okay, so in turn, alright. Okay, so I'm going to throw my ambusher in there as a flash spell, and hopefully it'll take out. So it's going to give. Okay, so we can't. So I'm going to throw this in. Going to buff the other creatures. I might have waited one round too much on this. So this is my bad. It's not the deck's fault. I was just scared that he had a growth spell there. Growth, yeah, instant. Okay, so I'm going to have to sacrifice this guy. Yeah, let me just see if my theory was correct. Okay, so maybe it wasn't. Okay, so I'm not going to attack because he's now obviously has the upper hand. And as you saw, we didn't play a card on our turn, so we get this extra little wolf, which is really what we needed right now. Okay, we can negate that. Goodbye. Okay. Pass. And then we play our card. Alright guys, sorry I'm back. Okay, so he's blocking with that. Okay, end the turn. Okay, and we get another wolf. Okay, we counter that. Right. I'm going to leave this here so that he thinks we have another counter. I don't, once you show that you have no cards in your hands, the opponent knows to do whatever he wants. Okay, but we're running out of counters though, obviously. Okay, another opt. Let's just keep trying to break down his forces here. Every round that we can survive, you know, we're going to get a wolf. We're going to have another wolf there. So our defense is growing strongly while he's losing an animal each or creature each turn. Plus our wolves are +3. Okay. End turn. And he becomes 1 stronger. Oh no, he doesn't. He gains his life back. Okay, we don't have any counters now, unfortunately. See what he's got. Hopefully nothing too insane. Okay. That's unfortunate. No, we definitely don't need a land. Okay. Perfect. I think this will work. Oh, amazing. How lucky was that? Wow, okay, so there you saw, I haven't actually experienced that before, but the power of Opt saved our asses there big time. So, very powerful card. Don't remove that from the deck if you are. That was crazy. Okay, and we get another quench. Now we are strong enough to start attacking him. Okay. And we get another wolf. Just have to try to get this army down. So we're going to be hitting him with 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay. End of game. That was a tough one, but as you saw, the power of this deck, it really keeps the opponent away from us, unable to cast any cards, and it's crazy. Look how our cutthroat is here at 14. We had one. I had to sacrifice it. It was my kind of bad call, the fact that he had an instant. But I mean, it's also happened to me so many times where opponents have played these +3/+3 instants, and then your creature dies. So yeah, you're always 50-50 whether it's going to be true. But I'm so happy that I was able to show the ambusher and how quickly we grew a little wolf back here, just from not playing no cards on our turn, and our cutthroat grew like crazy. Opt came in so handy. It literally, that was the card of the game. It saved our asses big time there. And yeah, so that was the deck, guys. I really enjoy this deck. I think it's super powerful and not very well known, quite honestly. Underrated, super powerful. Build it, play it, enjoy it. This is Ozarc. See you next time. Please like and subscribe. Cheers.